Okay, on this video I'm going to show you how to go through a platform and then jump on top of it and land on top of it, like I talked about in my previous video with GameMaker 8.1, and I'll show you in my next video how to do it with Studios. But this is the way of doing it without the code, because the code didn't work. Because this is a little more complex, because you're dealing with parenting objects. So you have an image here, and then he runs, and that running sequence is parented to the stand image of the character, as well as when he flips. See, it will flip, and then when he gets on this platform, when he flips here, he goes through it, then he flips, and lands on it, and then he's able to run off of it. So let me show you how I did that. Alright, so I'm not going to talk about the, how to make them move, make them run and all that stuff, because I've already talked about that in the past. I'm going to just talk about how I did the platform. So in the platform here, it's set up different than when I did my other tutorial with the code. So in my other tutorial, I talked about the code, how the code was embedded in with the platform and with the character. But now, in this setup here, this is called Object No Platform. So when he's hitting this Object No Platform, it's switching the platform that he supposed to land on to go through platform. So when he runs or walks past, if he's running or he's standing there, he's going to go through the platform. And then when he flips, then it's going to be solid. So when he flips and hits this object here called Object Next Plat, it's going to make this platform solid. So right now, since my character is hitting this red line here, it's telling the computer to switch the solid platform to the one that goes through the platform, and so that's why you're able to go through it. And then when he flips, he hits this block, which is a different block compared to this one, and it's telling the computer to switch the go through platform to a solid platform. So then he lands on it, he actually lands on it physically. So alright, so he hits this no platform, switches my solid platform that he lands on to go through the platform and say yes. Do the switch statement here under the main 1 tab, and a collision under the add event here. Okay, collision with Object No Plat, and the Object No Plat is not visible, and it's not going to be solid. Now with the platform that is solid, make sure it's checked solid. And like I said, when he's hitting this Object No Plat, it's switching my solid platform to go through platform. So when he does collide with the platform that's solid, this is the code you use. Say move _ contact _ solid, direction 0, speed 0. So this basically allows him to land on the platform and make sure that the object platform is solid. Make sure it's checked solid, and the no platform is not solid or visible. And when he runs, well, see, I don't have, in the running sequence, I have it parented to object stand. So whatever is in the object stand is going to happen for the run sequence too, such as like the gravity and he's landing on the platform. He's going to stop there on the platform. So all that's embedded in with Object Plat. So I don't have to copy all that code from the object stand right into the object player run, because I parented to this object here, which is the stand. So it takes all the attributes from the stand player and puts it into the run sequence. So it's less work you have to do. So And then the object player stand, you don't need to parent it to anything because this is the main person on the screen when you first start, so it doesn't need to be parented to anything. But anything else like your object player run and your flip, all that has to be parented to your object player stand, which is the character when you first start out in the game, where the camera view is attached to that person. You want to make sure all your parented objects are onto that particular person. So whatever is in your room at the beginning, all that has to be parented to that person at the beginning. And like I said, the camera view follows that, whoever's in the room at the start of the beginning. So all these objects are parented and attached to the object player stand right. So it takes all the attributes from the object player stand, puts it into the run sequence and the flip, such as the gravity and the when he's on the floor, he's stable, he's not going to go through it. So like I said, on the object platform, you have this move to contact solid, so he's not going to move, and it's solid. And like I said, you have to make sure that this object platform is solid too, otherwise he'll go through it. And then I have a crate, which this talks about the gravity and the speed. And I'm not going to talk about this pretty much because I talked about this before, but this is making sure that there's gravity in the game, so when he's flipping, he's going to land. Well, gravity's going to take over and make him land, and then he's going to be he'll be standing on the floor. So when he's not moving, it's going to be in the middle and speed 0, and then the step event for the gravity here. And then when he's on the floor, it's going to be the same move to contact solid, direction 0, speed 0. So that's the same information as the object platform. Same information. And then, like I said, the object no platform will switch to, it'll switch the object platform, which is solid, to go through the platform. So since he's touching this red line here, it's making this object platform that's solid to go through it. And when he touches this object here, which is the object next plat, it's not visible, not solid. That's only when he flips. So when he flips, it's going to switch the go through platform to the solid platform, so he's able to land on it. Make sure you perform the event yes, and then make sure that after you hit it that he's going to switch to the player stand right. Yeah, because apparently he flips higher here than he does here, so that's why you have to have that switch statement in there to mix. So you're making him flip to the stand right position, because if you take that out, then it doesn't work. Like if I take this out where he switches to the stand right, he's gonna keep spinning. So you got to make sure you put that in there. So it's a little bit more complex, but like I said, the code does not work with complex images for some reason, like I talked about in my other previous video, where you're using a simple object and you're using 2 strands of code for him to go through the platform and to make it solid. So now when he runs and flips and hits that red line that's in the, he's going to keep spinning. See, he keeps spinning. So you got to make sure you put that switch statement in there where he switches back to the object player stand right, because otherwise he keeps spinning. And that's what he did when I added the code in there. When I used the code for the character and for the platform, this is what happened. He kept spinning. So you got to make sure when you hit this line that he switches. He switches back to the character object player stand right. So not only is it switching the object go through platform to solid platform, but it's also switching the character from flipping to going back to object player stand right. because when he's not on the platform and you press the flip, then there is a when you press enter, he's switching from he's doing the flip in the air, right? So you have the gravity here, he's in the air, but after 20 seconds, alarm will cut on, and then it will drop. The gravity will take over, and he'll drop. And then once he hits the floor, he'll switch to object player stand right. And you know what? I could potentially do this. Let me see this. Copy this and add the object platform. Maybe this, if I add this in here, I won't need the other one. So when he lands on the floor, he's going to switch back to the player right, and then if he lands on the solid platform, it'll turn into the player stand right too. So maybe I don't need this information where he hits the next player and he's object player stand right. I don't need that anymore. So let me take that out again and see what happens. Let me save it real quick. I gotta open it back up. So it may be a little bit complex here and a little bit confusing here, but it's the only way that I know how to do it, because the code doesn't work for some reason. So if you want to make a game using simple objects and using that code that I talked about in my previous video, go ahead, feel free to do that. But if you want to make it more complex and have a more of an interesting game or something, then you have to do it this way. Yeah, see, now he lands on it, so okay, that works. So what I did was, when I flipped, when he lands on the object floor, he switches back to the stand right, or if he's on the solid platform, he's going to switch to stand right as well. So now I don't need that code that I talked about before, where he hits that line. So you still need this line when he flips and hits. Once he hits this line, that means he's far enough up where he's not touching this anymore, and so that you really have to get this adjusted just right. So when you flip, you got to make sure that he's completely clear of this go through platform, so it will switch to the platform, the solid platform. Otherwise, he'll get stuck in the platform. So you got to make sure you test this out and make sure that when he flips, he's away from this go through platform. So when it switches to the solid one, he won't get stuck in there. So you got to keep messing with this line here. So like I said, if I move this line right here and I delete this one, you'll see what happens when I hit it. It's not going to work right because I have it in the wrong position. So you really got to play with the timing. So like I said, it's a little complex, but it works. The code does not work for some reason. If you want to do simple objects, use the code and it'll work fine. But with complex objects, when you're dealing with parenting objects to a player and using the camera view, you have to do it this way. See, you got stuck. Now I can't move. So that's what I was talking about. So you got to make sure you put that red platform right above where he flips that, so he's clear of this platform here, and then it's able to switch to the solid one, and then he lands on it, and then he's fine, and he runs right off of it like I showed you before. If you put it in the wrong spot and flip, and he touches that red line, and you don't have it clear of this platform, you can get stuck in it and you can't get out. So make sure that you raise it up just enough so he's clear of this platform, and he'll switch to the solid one and he'll land on it. So you just gotta mess with it and adjust it, test your game out, make sure it works fine before you put it up there for people to play. Because, like I said, you don't want them to get aggravated with it and not want to play with it anymore. So make sure you test out your game, make sure it works great before you put it up there for people to download it and play it. Alright, I will be doing another video on Studios about the same thing. Thanks for watching.